This team isn't done. This team is not going to be denied.
Energy all day! Energy all day!
Nick Bolton makes the hit. It's intercepted by Brian Cook. It's Mahomes gunning it long. Cook!
The Chiefs took care of business last week for our 5th win in our last 6 games, and now with the chance to ride a 4-game winning streak into the bye, we're back in Buffalo for a showdown against Josh Allen and the Bills. We are 2 hours from kickoff. We've waited all week for this very moment. It's finally here. It is time for football in Chiefs Kingdom. Let's do this. My name is Matt McMullen, joined by voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. This is Field Pass, presented by StorageMart. And Mitch, Field Pass was on a bit of a hiatus last week. We had some technical issues and couldn't do our show on Monday Night Football. But we're back this week for what might be the game of the year.
We did a show.
We did.
It's never happened.
No one saw it.
No one saw it, but it was a good rehearsal for this. We've waited all week, but it's been a short week. And a short week and go on the road and play a team of high caliber. It's a challenge for the Chiefs, but one that you and I felt good about all week long.
Well, let's talk about the Chiefs' defense a little bit to start out. This is the number 2 scoring defense in the NFL. They're only allowing 16.4 points per game. And over the last 3 weeks, they've allowed a grand total of 24 points. What's impressed you most about our defense so far this year?
Matt, we talk about offenses finding a rhythm, but defenses can too. And I really feel like over the past 4 weeks, or ever since the Jacksonville game, there has been a rhythm from this defense as far as we play so many combinations, whether it's 3 safeties, 3 corners and dime, or we go through the corners and safeties, but linebackers, but they're working in concert. And they're going to have to do that against this team today. But it's a defensive team from a scheme standpoint, from a working together standpoint, a communication standpoint, that's on fire, and they are in a rhythm.
You know, we've been so good against opposing running backs, too, specifically. We haven't allowed a single runner to top 100 rushing yards against us in a game this year. And we've played guys like Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry, and others. And looking at the last 2 weeks, they held Ashton Genty and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 2 pretty good young players, to a combined 46 rushing yards. They've been great against the run, and we'll need them at their best once again here today.
Yeah, seeing Mike Pennell's going to come walk by us. He's back.
He's back.
So he's going to be right behind us. That's what's fun.
There he is.
And he's excited. But the run defense will be challenged in this game like no other this year, just because, and we'll get into it, it's the whole package of what Buffalo is doing now. They're more committed to it than ever. Nobody's running the ball more than the Bills in the whole NFL. We saw Army at the end of September. You're playing Army in the NFL version of it, or the Ravens of a couple years ago, or the Eagles. That's what the Bills have become.
Yeah, it's surprising. You don't think of Buffalo and running the football like this, but no one has run the football better than these guys this year. Their 1,115 rushing yards lead the NFL, and that's despite playing 1 fewer game than just about everyone else because they already had their bye week. They're averaging 164 rushing yards per game this season, their most as a team since 1976. Like you said, their 32 rushing attempts lead the NFL per game. And at the center of all of it is James Cook. What a season he's having. Only Jonathan Taylor has more rushing yards this year.
What he did last week was phenomenal. He had 216 yards in less than 20 carries. That's only happened 3 other times in the history of the National Football League. Bobby Mitchell in 1959. Bo Jackson when he was playing for the Royals and the Raiders in 1987, then a couple years ago with Derrick Henry. But when you think about that kind of volume and you're not carrying it 35 times, it tells you, one, very productive and very explosive.
Got to slow him down. Also need to slow down their short passing game. So that's been their bread and butter this year. For example, Khalil Shakir is their leading receiver this season with 356 receiving yards. Well, 298 of those yards have occurred after the catch. Only Jamar Chase has more among wide receivers. It's pretty simple for the Chiefs defense today. You can't let a 2-yard catch turn into a 20-yard game.
And the tight ends enter this picture too. Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, who are both very effective in that 5 to 7 to 12-yard range. And where they do it is maybe the best version of RPO other than us, in the fact that Josh Allen is so good on RPOs and a threat to run it that he can pull it out really quickly and find everybody we mentioned here for 8 yards. So you've got to play the run. You've got to be disciplined, but you can't forget the short passing game and then have it turn into a bigger game because of broken tackles.
Well, you know what's strange? You think about Josh Allen and the Bills, you think about the deep passing game, right? Well, Allen actually has the lowest passer rating of any quarterback in the NFL on throws of 20 or more yards this season. It's crazy. I don't totally buy it. It's still Josh Allen. It's still the Bills. But for what it's worth, like we've talked about, their whole offense is designed around running the ball in the short passing game, and it might play right into our hands defensively.
His passer rating of throws of 20 yards or more is 29.
It's crazy.
He has had 18 incompletions, 9 completions, and 3 interceptions. The crazy stat is he would have a better quarterback rating if he had all incompletions. It's just not very Josh Allen-like. But if you look at his receiving core, this isn't the same, right? This isn't Stephon Diggs on this team in his prime or a Gabriel Davis in his prime. Nothing against Khalil Shakir, but he's an underneath guy. And they don't have Joshua Palmer today. And so it's just different in the way Buffalo's doing their business, and I really think they're doing it to protect their defense. They're right now number 1 in the NFL, the Bills, 33 minutes and 15 seconds of time of possession on the average. Wow. On the average after 7 weeks, and they're 21-4 in their last 25 when they win the time of possession battle. So they want to keep the ball. They're not chucking it down the field. It's still really dangerous and effective.
Well, let's talk about this Bills defense a little bit. It's the number 9 scoring defense in the NFL. That's pretty good. But one area they've really struggled is against the run. This is the number 31 ranked run defense in the league this year. Only Cincinnati has been worse. They're allowing 150 rushing yards per game this season. What stands out to you about this Bills defense?
Well, again, they're different. They're so outside-centric. They got Joey Bosa. Right, they invested in him, but they still have Rousseau and Epinesa. But that's where the strength of their defense is. And let's be honest, they've had injuries.
Yeah.
No Ed Oliver, right? And they're going to miss Daquan Jones in this game too. So in the middle, even they've had Milano in and out, right? He's had an injury plague last couple of years. So they're just missing dudes in the middle there, and they're so outside-centric that this is a team, if you can get them and attack them, like Atlanta did. Atlanta was a bad matchup for them. Atlanta just ran roughshod over them.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the run defense a little bit because really kind of jarring. They allowed 238 rushing yards to the Ravens in Week 1, 189 rushing yards to the Saints in Week 4, and that Falcons game that you were talking about, 210 rushing yards in that game back in Week 6. And also, for what it's worth, they've only played one opposing offense this year that currently ranks in the top 10 in terms of scoring offenses. It was the Patriots a few weeks ago, and they lost that game.
I'm not sure we even know about the Bills yet. Their strength of victory, that leads me to that spot. Their opponents, their victories, their 5 victories, opponents' record is 10-29. It's the next to worst strength of victory in the NFL. Only the Cowboys have a worse strength of victory. Now, what does that mean? Well, they have yet to beat a team like the Chiefs. And so the one team they beat with a winning record is Carolina at the time. So they're trying to figure out who they are as well, but they've changed the way they played. Now, one thing I want to mention is their offensive line. I think it's probably, other than Josh Allen and Cook, the strongest part, and those all work in concert. Their offensive line is outstanding. Of the 216 yards that James Cook had last week, he had 164 before he was even touched, meaning he could have just stood there and got 4 yards. And so this offensive line, I think, is underrated. They're good. Same cast of characters, Deion Dawkins, Spencer Brown out of Lenox, Iowa. And Connor McGovern in the middle, not the Mizzou Connor McGovern, the other one. Good offensive line. The Chiefs will have to handle them.
You mentioned how they're different this year, though, in a lot of ways. Another area they're different is in the turnover margin. So last year, these guys were plus 24 in the giveaway takeaway, just like an astronomical number. It was crazy. It was historic. They were plus 11 at this point last year. Now, they're plus 2 this year. Certainly not bad, but nowhere near where they were last season. And it's not rocket science here. If you look at their 2 losses this season, they gave the ball away 5 times in those games, only forced 1 turnover themselves. We need to win the turnover battle here today.
Yeah, and easier said than done. They're so long on the outside. And talking with the coaches and players this week, and I was talking to Patrick Mahomes about it. Think of his in 21 in the game at Arrowhead early on, first drive of the game. He has a tip pass by Greg Rousseau that he intercepts. Then Epinesa did it to him in 2023, meaning they're so long that, and Bosa has 4 forced fumbles. He leads the league in that category, tied for the top. And they have 10 forced fumbles as a team. This is a rip and strip kind of team or a tip pass kind of team, and so we're going to have to deal with the length on the outside. What Buffalo wants to do in this game is control the ball, protect their defense. But when the defense is out there, think about what we were saying before the Ravens game when they were on fire, or the Lions game. You've got to steal a possession here or there, and that's what the Bills want to do in this game.
Well, fortunately, the Chiefs have been so good about protecting the football this year. Now, 2 interceptions last week. Kind of felt fluky, though, because after that, the Chiefs went on to score 28 points. It was the 5th straight game where the Chiefs scored at least 28 points. Longest streak for any team in the NFL this year. What's working for our offense right now?
Everything. It's just there's so many variations, so many formations, so many pieces of personnel that you've got to deal with. Now, not having Isaiah Pacheco today will pose a challenge, but I really think Brashard Smith can have a big game, not just running the ball. And think of Brashard differently than just he's not Pacheco, he's him. He's who he is. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active in this game.
How about that?
How about that? Yeah, and his best day was on this field back in the COVID year. Had 164 yards in that game, but 161, I think. But the offense is attacking defenses in such a varied way in both the pass and the run, and it's with formations, and it's with creating triangles and geometric attack. It's been awesome. I was watching some of the NFL pundits today break it down, and they're like, I don't know how you defend these guys right now. So that's a challenge Buffalo's got, and if you don't turn it over, you should move the ball and score on these guys. And then the red zone's been phenomenal. The Chiefs have been incredible in the red zone. And one of them's like a kneel down, not even trying. Over the past month, basically, there's only 4 times they haven't got a touchdown when they've been in the red zone.
Well, yeah, since week 4, the Chiefs lead the NFL in yards per game and first downs per game. And overall, Patrick Mahomes leads the NFL in total touchdowns with 21. He's tied with Matthew Stafford with 17 passing touchdowns for the most in the league. And only Justin Herbert has more passing yards. Mahomes is playing at an MVP level right now.
Well, since week 4, you mentioned it, he's the best quarterback in the league. Yeah. But what did that tie into? Xavier Worthy coming back, and then Rashee Rice coming into play. Now, the offensive line, we'll watch how Trey Smith does today. That back, has been kind of bugging him, kept him out of the game last week, although Mike Caliendo did an excellent job. And then Jalen Moore missed some time because of being sick this week. But this offensive line, we talk about Buffalo's offensive line, we need to talk about the Chiefs as well.
Well, the Chiefs are spreading the football around better than anybody else in the league right now. 8 different players have at least 250 scrimmage yards for the Chiefs this year, most of any team in the NFL. And it'll soon be 9 because Rashee Rice is off to a great start now that he's back on the field. Now, I mentioned our technical difficulties last week. We were really excited to show you guys this interview we had with Rashee about his season debut. Couldn't show it because we had no show. But he was great again last week with a touchdown. We figured, why not show that again? So here's my interview with Rashee from a few weeks ago. All right, Rashee, after a calendar year of waiting, you finally got back out there on the field last week. Just how'd it feel to get back out there?
It felt great. I feel like, honestly, it feels longer than a year, just because 1 full year is 2 seasons in all reality. So in my eyes, I was going for two years of playing football. So it just felt great to be back out there.
And you were playing so well the last time we saw you. Like in week 3 of last year, you led the NFL in catches. You were second in receiving yards. Did it kind of feel like you just picked right back up where you left off, though, against the Raiders?
Yeah, 100%. I kind of feel like, personally, this is my only job, and I don't really have an excuse to come back any less, So I got to come back balling out every time.
And you get 10 targets in that game last week, 2 touchdowns. Did you find out at some point midweek that Coach Reed was going to try to get you in the end zone, or was that a surprise? How'd that all work out?
We ran a couple plays to get me in the end zone, during red zone day, but all the plays we run is to score touchdowns. So, it just so happened that I got to run a play right after Noah Gray's big catch to get in the end zone. So it wasn't just about me, but I just got the opportunity to get in there.
Now, a lot of hard work, obviously, for you to get to that point, like with your rehab after the injury. Tell me about that process a little bit, going through your rehab and getting ready for that game last week.
Yeah, rehab, it was a long journey. I knew eventually that I would be back to myself just because I was able to talk to a lot of other athletes. Basically, they had worse injuries than me, and they've always got back to their self. I just kind of took those steps to look at other people's progress and just kind of expected myself to work as hard as I can to get back to myself.
And when you got out there, for the first time we saw you and Xavier and Hollywood all at the same time. We've been waiting on that for like over a year and a half now. How much fun was that to be out there with those guys?
It was real fun. Kind of felt like we were unstoppable. I'm just looking forward to every other game because I think it's going to be fun like that every time we're out there on the field together.
I asked Xavier about it, and he's like, well, we only played 3 quarters and scored 31 points, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, facts. We did play 3 quarters. I didn't really think about that Like, that's how much fun we were having, I guess. We were just sitting on the sideline the whole quarter. I didn't even really realize.
So you couldn't be here the first 3 weeks, but you were here in week 4. Even though you weren't playing, you were in the building. And Coach Reed and all the guys talked about how your energy was kind of infectious and you helped this team even though you weren't playing yet. What's that mean to you when you hear that?
I mean, it means a lot just to know that just my presence without me being on the field has an impact. I mean, it's kind of cool to hear just because, I mean, not necessarily when I'm out the building everything's bad, but when I come in, I'm just trying to be the same person every day. And if me being me is giving everybody else energy, then that's what I'll do.
So 31 points against the Raiders on Sunday. How do we keep this going here now and find some more success offensively now that you're back here for good?
We just keep doing what we're doing. We go out there, have fun, work hard in practice so that games are easy.
Do you have a message for Chiefs Kingdom about what this offense can achieve this year moving forward?
I mean, we're 415. If anybody know where that area code's at, you know about it. We'll be there.
All right, great stuff there from Rasheed. We just got the inactives for today's game. Let's go over those really quickly. Our timing is awesome today. I think we paid for this with our technical issues last week. Our timing is just on point today. So for the Chiefs, some good news here. We were watching Jalen Moore at left tackle. He was sick on Friday. He's active here today. That's great news. Trey Smith active here today with that back injury. Didn't play last week.
We'll
but Trey
keep an
Smith
eye
is
on,
back.
as you're listening on the radio, you'll be helping me. We're going to keep a look on those guys.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those guys. But they are active, which is great news. Not going to have Josh Simmons. We knew that already with the personal stuff. And running back Isaiah Pacheco not going to play here today. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, as he predicted, is active today. How about that?
And he's going to wear number 26. If you're watching and listening, you can listen, of course, on the largest network in the NFL. But you're thinking, well, wait a minute, he can't have 25 because that's Elijah Mitchell. He's wearing 26. He's been wearing 44 in practice, but he's going to be as close to 25 as he can get.
Now, looking at the Bills, some big news here. They're not going to have corner Taron Johnson. This is a huge deal. One of their better corners. He got hurt in practice on Friday. He has a groin injury, questionable coming in. Not going to play here today. That's a big deal.
Other than the outside guys, we mentioned Rousseau and Epinesa and Joey Bosa, and then Milano, it's him. It's him. He's in the middle of this defense. They play nickel as much as anybody in the league. It's really their base defense. And he's the nickel guy. So he's this hybrid guy like let's think Shamari Connor here.
Sure.
And so to have him out of there is really kind of like taking a Nick Bolton out of your defense because he basically is running the defense along with Milano.
They're not going to have Ed Oliver either in the middle of their defensive line. A really good player. I think he's their best defensive player. Not going to have him. He was placed on injured reserve this week. Daquan Jones, another starter for them on their defensive front, not going to play here today due to a calf injury. Another big deal. Josh Palmer, we saw him for several years with the Chargers. Kind of always seemed to kill us. He's not going to play here today with a knee and an ankle injury. It's a big deal. They are getting some help back at linebacker. Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard have both missed time in recent weeks. Both those guys are coming back. Shaq Thompson, though, at linebacker, who's played well for them this season, he's not going to play here today.
Also a good special teams player. And Codrington's not going to play either. He has been a punt returner for them. So special teams could be affected by this injury report as well.
Well, we'll close with this, Mitch. I think we're watching history every time the Chiefs and Bills get together at this point. These are the kind of games, like in 20 years, I think we'll look back on and say it's pretty cool we were there for that. It's never easy against the Bills, but I'll tell you what, no team is playing better football right now than the Kansas City Chiefs. And what better way to go into the bye than on a 4-game winning streak and beating these guys in Buffalo. For Mitch Holthus, I'm Matt McMullen. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let's go get a victory.